welcome to yet again another vlog. Today we have an E92 335D in for a remap. Car has been tuned before from another big tuning company with the same package, so everything remains the same. It has downpipe, intercooler, EGR Delete, Swirl flap delete, just the basic things to make some power. But this car has to be retuned because it has some weird things showing up lately. Let's check what it does. So basically what happens is every time we read out the car, so let's just first select the car, BMW. So BMW 3 Series E92, engine computer, read fault code, no fault code sort. So now just watch this one. So we disable some critical things: rear pressure sensor, cam sensor, throttle plate. Let's read out fault codes again. So go back, read fault codes, no fault codes. Let's try again, read fault codes, just no fault code stored. So basically what this tells is they have just deleted all fault codes inside of the engine control computer. So there never will be an engine light into the instrument cluster. So the car just always drives good, but nobody knows if everything is still good because they just disabled all the critical fault codes. So if something goes wrong, engine will just brake, stop running, nobody will know what happened. So we now opened the software we just read out in our tuning software to compare it. This one is the original one, this one is the tuned one we just read out. So I show you some things which I think should really don't happen. So here you see they just disabled everything. So the red values are the values they changed. If it's blue, the values are lower than the original, and if it's red, the values are higher than the original. So you see here they just maxed out all the values, so it just have no influence. So if you go a little bit further, you see here exhaust temperature limiter. So if we look to this one and we look to the original one, what you see is if the exhaust temperature becomes too hot in stock form, the engine computer will decide to pull away some torque and just prevent the engine from doing some damage. So this is very important for the turbocharger, but also for your pistons, because if the exhaust temperature becomes too hot, you can blow a hole inside of your pistons, or you can even break your turbo. If you look here, you see they just disabled the whole limiter. If you scroll a little bit through, you see here, this one is the fault code table. So what you see is they just, this table starts here, ends there. So all values are set to 0. So if you look here, you see 0, 0 as well, also 0. So what this does is, in this manner, they just disabled all fault codes. So in all cases, there will be no fault code stored inside of the engine control unit. If you scroll a little bit through, this here, overheat protection, this one as well, overheat protection. So what you see is they just disabled. So no matter how hot the engine oil or the coolant temperature becomes, the control unit does nothing. This one disabled as well, overheat protection, disabled. If you scroll a little bit through, you see the injection duration table, this one here. So don't know if you watched our other video, but this is basically what they done. So what they did is they added a percentage to the duration table. You see the axes are not changed. So if you just click the percentage away, what they did is, you see they just took this whole portion of the table and just added some percentage to it. Basically, I think because they don't know where all limiters are inside of the control unit, so if they don't do it like that, they just can tune the engines. You see these these are two sets of tables, one set for the small turbo, one set of the big turbo. What this tells the engine control unit is how big the boost pressure deviation may be before the fault code is triggered, but it just doesn't matter because they disabled the fault codes anyway. So what they did here, has no effect. So to start our process, we just did a 100 to 200 run with Draggy with the map the car came with. So now we have 13 seconds, 100 to 200, which is not that fast at all for 335D. So let's see what we can make of it. We just will now flash our first map. So we just flashed our first map. Let's now just do some testing on the road, see what it does, and then take a data log, review all the values and see if we have to make any adjustments. We just reviewed our first map. We were a bit low on injection quantity, so we upped the fuel a little bit and we did some modification to boost pressure as well. So now we will try our second map, see what it does. We just finished logging with our last map. The only thing that's left is just to test the improve in 100 to 200 time we've made. So we just have to make another run with Draggy to see what time it does now, 100 to 200. So we just did our 100 to 200 run. We were able to shorten the time by a bit more than 1 second, which is not bad because the car was not slow before. So just by putting other software on it, we were able to have a gain from around 10%. So we're happy with the result. Car is quite fast now, has good torque, and as you see, we now have an engine light. So we still have to clear the faults because we maxed our set point of our air mass, so that's just a fault that's still stored. We just have to clear them, but it's already solved on the map. So thank you for watching, have a nice day and see you next time.